I want to bring in Brian Tyler Cohen. I hope you've checked him out online. He's got a huge digital audience on YouTube, and for good reason. Smart and really part of the progressive movement of the left. We'll see what that's going to become. Brian, it's good to be with you. Why
Chris,
are
thanks for having
you
me.
so interested in the Epstein situation? You, of all people. Why do you care about this story?
I know it's not usually my beat here, but I think it's actually the perfect instance to show what a con this has all been as far as these Trump supporters are concerned. I mean, these guys spent, whether it's Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Alina Habba, Donald Trump, spent all of this time promising their supporters something. They used it to gain power for themselves. And the moment that they're actually in government, that they have the opportunity to substantiate the very claims that they themselves were making, they immediately do an about face, leave their supporters high and dry. And it's the perfect microcosm for everything that they do, because Trump has promised so many things to his supporters. He's promised a healthcare plan that was cheaper and more comprehensive. He's promised an an infrastructure law. He promised a jobs boom, a manufacturing renaissance. They keep promising all these things. That was the first term. The second term, they promised lower prices for groceries, lower prices for eggs, housing, rent. The only thing they ever give themselves is a tax cut for millionaires and billionaires. That's it. That is their priority. But they have to say whatever they got to say to string the rubes along. And this is the perfect example of that backfiring on them, because they found something that their supporters clearly care a lot about, and it's not going to be as easy for them to just pretend like there's no there.
So the opportunity is that there are people who are disillusioned, and therefore they may become a little bit more open to a different message. So you got to be in the business of better on the other side, because you're not going to shame them into wanting to vote for you. Like, see what you did with Trump? Now you better vote for us. That's not going to work. You never blame the voter. So then it gets into, well, what is the message that's being projected? I felt that this was a great opportunity. Horrible situation, but often there's opportunity. Attacks on the ICE agents was a chance for a Newsom, anybody, AOC, anybody who wants to be a leader on the big stage to come forward and say, no, this isn't who we are. And that's what we criticized about the extremists at the far fringe of MAGA. And none of them have taken that opportunity, Brian. I am shocked at the lack of coverage in the media, but also no lefty. AOC opened up her pie hole about Epstein, but not about the ICE attacks.
Well, I think that, politically speaking, it's pretty clear why. If you look at the new Gallup poll that was released today, Trump's approval on immigration is completely underwater. He's 35 to 62. There is a record high approval of immigration itself, 79 to 17 overall. 78% of Americans that responded support a pathway to citizenship. That's up almost 10 points from 2024. Only 38% support mass deportation. That's down 9 points from 2024. And so you look at these numbers, and it's clear where the majority of Americans are on this. And I think that's owed to a few reasons. As it relates to ICE specifically, I mean, this is the kind of thing that anybody in America would look at happen in another country and say, this is clearly the result of some autocratic authoritarian regime run amok. These guys have no insignia. They're not identifying themselves. They're grabbing people and throwing them into trucks. They're effectively kidnapping people here. And moreover, this is not something that Trump had a mandate to do. He promised that he would be deporting hardened criminals. He's going out into fields, finding people that are picking the food we eat, harvesting the crops that we need for this country, going into construction sites and plucking people out of jobs where they're building the homes that we all live in. I mean, this is not at all what he promised. And so clearly, from a political perspective, there's no mandate for him to do this.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying that you're blowing the advantage when you don't call out people who try to kill the agents enforcing the laws.
Look,
that's all I'm saying.
I understand that, and I'm not. The last thing I'm going to do is advocate for any violence on any side. So that caveat notwithstanding, but I do think that, at least from look, these guys they're politicians first and foremost, and so if you just look at the numbers right in front of us, it's very clear where the wind is blowing.
I got you. I got to jump. Brian Tyler Cohen, you're always welcome to be here. People should check you out on YouTube. You got a massive audience for good reason. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Chris.
Back. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.